First off, it's all about the U. Today, in the third part of the 12-part series of our 2010 opponents, is the Pittsburgh Panthers. Our opponent on September 23rd up in Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on the Thursday night after our bye week. Some background on the Panthers. They are in the Big East, where they went 10-3 last year, 5-2 in the league, ending with a Meineke Carkipple win in Charlotte, beating North Carolina 19-17 to finish 15th in the final polls. This year, there are big expectations for the Panthers to win the Big East title. On offense, they returned their star running back Dion Lewis, who was a second-team All-American as a freshman in 2009. He had 1,988 yards, all-purpose, almost 1,800 of those rushing, 1,799 to be exact, and 18 touchdowns total. However, their running game is not just Lewis. They also returned Ray Graham, who had just 349 yards rushing in 2009. But in 2010, we're going to look for Ray Graham to get a lot more of the ball to spell Lewis. This is going to be a very solid running team, people, and they're going to have to be a force to be dealt with all year. They do have questions at quarterback. They lost Bill Stoll to graduation, so Tino Sinceri, the sophomore, is the clear starter. He won that during the spring, but they have a capable backup in Pat Bostic, who in 2008, as a freshman, went up to Notre Dame and beat the Irish. Their interior of the O-line is gone to graduation. Some younger guys will have to step up, but they do return two all Big East players at the tackle spots in senior Jason Pinkston and junior Lucas Nix. The receiving corps is capable of possibly being the best in the conference this year with the return of Jonathan Baldwin, who had over 1,100 yards receiving in 2009 and 8 touchdowns. On the other side, there's Mike Shanahan. No, not that Mike Shanahan that's coaching in Washington, but no relation, by the way. Mike Shanahan is a sophomore wide receiver on the other side of Baldwin. Defensively, this is the strength of the Pittsburgh team and a Dave Wannstedt coach team. They have, on the D-line, it's the strength of their defense. They returned their stud D lineman Greg Ramos, who was a first-team All Big East, and Jabal Sheard. At linebacker, they lose Adam Gunn to graduation, but they're still very loaded here with Dan Mason, who's a sophomore, and they say up there in the Steel City, he could be the next great linebacker there when it's all said and done. As well as Max Gruder, who was their leading tackle last year with 91 tackles. In the secondary, you know they have two solid ball hawks at safety, in Dom DeChico, who had 3 picks and 88 tackles last year, and Jared Holley, who's a sophomore, who had 48 tackles last year as a freshman and 3 interceptions. If there is a weakness in that secondary, it's at corner, where they did lose Aaron Berry to graduation, he was a first-team All Big East player. They are going to be some young there, but overall, their defense is going to be rock solid this season. And you know, back on, they're coached by Dave Wannstedt, who used to be a CANES assistant under Jimmy, and was a former head coach with the Chicago Bears and the Miami Dolphins. He'll enter his 6th year in the Steel City. His overall record is 35-26, and his teams have improved over the last 3 years. Just like what Randy's done with our team here. For Pittsburgh, yes, they won 10 last year. Their fans expect them to take that next step and win the BCS title, win the Big East title, and get to a BCS game. Now, from McCain's point of view, this is a trap game. This has a chance to be a potential letdown game. After the emotional game in Columbus 12 days earlier, and I think coming off maybe a big win over the Buckeyes. But either way, it's good. Either way, whether win or lose in Columbus, we'll have that bye week to recover before going up to Pittsburgh on a Thursday night on ESPN. Now, I don't see us having a letdown from the game in Columbus. I see us clicking on all cylinders, and I see us rolling in this game. Yes, Pitt is good, but they are young, and I believe our experience and the weapons we have will just be too much for Pittsburgh to overcome in this game. Lewis, as good as he is, I think he will be no factor in this game. We will shut him down the way we did Larry Fitzgerald back in 2003 when we last went up to the Steel City. So Pittsburgh, in closing on Pittsburgh, I expect will win the Big East this year, and I think they have a shot to win 11 games. You know, this is a team that is very, very good and very well coached by Dave Wannstedt. So we'll know about them early when we go up there on a Thursday night. Now tomorrow, the talk's going to turn to our opening day opponent in ACC play, and that's the Clemson Tigers. So I'll see you then, and as always, go Canes.